Welcome to the free agency episode of the Ballinesian Podcast here on the Polytickin Network. Thank you guys for tapping in. So I'm once talking about sports. Got a Charger and Raiders fan here about to break down the latest moves from the NFL free agency that opened today. That opened with the Wednesday start of the new year. Here on the Polytikin Network. Definitely help us out. Support the Patreon. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Follow the socials. Rate 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Hell yeah.
And share the content. If someone's looking for pod or any sort of recommendations, not just sports, freaking current events. Got the Polytikin podcast, Pacifica movie starter kit, all sorts of movies that we've deep dived on, and more to come from the network. So definitely thank you guys for tapping in. Sponsored as always by Levasa Island Apparel. Check the IG, _Vasa. Shout out to brother Eri down there in Modesto, California. And we're ready for a bunch of names switching teams, but we got to get into our teams first. The Chargers have been pretty quiet, but the Raiders are making moves. It's like Pete Carroll, Tom Brady. It's time to make your guys' mark. It feels like a fresh new era. On the way out, even before free agency started, you guys re-signed Max Crosby to a huge extension, made him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL history. And then you also traded a third-round pick for former Pete Carroll quarterback with the Seahawks, Geno Smith. And then all the moves that have gone on so far. What do you feel about the extension and the trade for Geno as your guys' quarterback?
Nothing. Regular moves, nothing big, man. Just
You
what they
didn't.
do.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're saying this is regular? This is how they do it.
Nah,
Definitely re-signings instead of spendings.
the, the re-signing for Max Crosby is just because that's big because they wanted to make him just like the other regime that just got out of there with the big contract they gave him. They want to make sure that he knows he's their franchise player without franchise tagging you. He's they're building around him. They want to make him that player for a few more years, or hopefully till the end of his career. Also, there were so many rumors flying around about him being dealt to another team for a high draft pick, or for a better like a quarterback, something big. But I think that just solidifies him as the best player on the team, the guy they're gonna look to lead this team, and that's big. The Geno move was big because they needed to do something at quarterback. They're currently not in the position in the draft to draft high for a quarterback. They are six, that's high in the draft, yes, but there are two quarterbacks considered to be top five worthy, and they're probably going to go top five, and we're right outside of the top five. So, yeah, they made that move. Geno was probably one of the better quarterbacks on the market. Um, Not named, I guess, Justin Fields. Uh, some considered Sam Darnold to be probably the top market quarterback. They did try for Stafford, who's both him and Geno are a little older, but very experienced. They didn't get Stafford because Stafford is a backstabber and decided to go. No, I'm just
Because
kidding.
Stafford did not agree to the mountain ski resort
Right.
deal.
They offered him. I mean, it was a big deal. They offered him obviously more money than the Rams because it's reported that he turned down more money or
Like
took less
40
money.
million. They
Yeah,
offered him like 2 years, 90 million or something to play
yeah.
quarterback for them.
They are trying to win now. The Raiders are
Wait, why did
too.
he take less money?
I mean,
Oh,
could be
comfortable family there.
comfortable. Yeah, in LA. Maybe he doesn't want to move from LA.
Okay.
Maybe he believes in the direction they're moving in, even though they are trading out a 30-year-old receiver for a 35-year-old receiver.
Davante going to the Rams. A thing I heard about Pete Carroll is that he doesn't want to start with like a rookie quarterback, right? That's why he brought in, what was his name? Matt McFly. No, there was like some other quarterback
Oh,
before
Matt Flynn.
Flynn. Okay. Yeah.
When he was in Seattle, he did the same thing in Seattle. He dealt for like three different quarterbacks that year. It's the same year they were able to draft Russell Wilson. So I mean,
Yeah.
the Raiders could still look to draft a quarterback because Pete Carroll, he signed Matt Flynn that year. I forgot what they did. they had another quarterback too, drafted Russell Wilson, and then ended up giving
Mhm.
Matt Flynn, go figure, to the Raiders at that time, and Matt Flynn went over to
Yeah.
the Raiders.
But that was like usually he wants to start with a vet quarterback. So
Experienced
like
quarterback.
trading up was probably unlikely. Right now, it's definitely they're not going to trade up for like Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders. You got Geno
Yeah,
Smith now. You could get one of the other quarterbacks, but Geno Smith took a lot of heat in Seattle with not a great line. So he's like he's a very serviceable quarterback. I mean that's sounds like a diss, right? He's not a great elite, whatever, but definitely better than people realize. Like he took a lot of heat because of a bad offensive line in Seattle. Sam Darnold takes over there. Sam Darnold was in a much better situation roster wise, like teammate wise, last year in Kevin O'Connell's quarterback friendly system, throwing to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. So it's like you guys got the better quarterback in that flip of Darnold, Geno Smith. So I think he's going to do good. He's definitely going to raise the floor of Jacoby Myers and definitely Brock Bowers. So that's cool. Uh, in free agency so far, you guys lost a couple of really, I feel like, good players, right? Decent cogs in
yeah.
the defense last year. Robert Spillane signed with the New England Patriots, Trevon Merrick to the Carolina Panthers, and Nate Hobb to the Green Bay Packers. Um, but you guys did some re-signings and brought some people in. You re-signed Malcolm Kuntz for 1 year,
That's
12
a good
million.
addition. Yeah,
For only 12 million, that's great. Defensive tackle Adam Butler got the long-term contract, but it's only $16 million for 3 years. That's really good. You guys signed guard Alex Kappa, who was cut by the Bengals. Safety Jeremy Chin, 2 years, 16 million. Linebacker Landon Roberts, 1 year, 3 million, and just cornerback Eric Stokes,
yeah.
1 year, 4 million. Uh, Pieces going out. Are those really big guys? I mean, Merrick, those are all starters, right? Hobbs, Spillane.
They're big in the sense that, like Spillane, he wasn't just like he was also the defensive leader, like in the locker room. Um, a lot of people thought he was like a spark plug too for the team. So those things are going to be hard to replace because he was also a guy in the system. He had spent time 2 years in the system, knew the system, was like a defensive captain for them. He's a middle linebacker, so like the point guard of the defense. Hard to replace because he knew how to run that system, and he was pretty good. He was pretty good. I won't lie. He'll probably be the biggest. Well, they signed the guy from Pittsburgh that you mentioned, who, if you're going off of stats, is better than Spilling, but he hasn't played for the Raiders, so we'll see how he does. Hobbs is probably the most talented out of the group that they lost.
Spillane signed a 3 year, like $50 million contract. You guys brought in a linebacker on 1 year, $3 million. So if they're even close to the same, that's a
Yeah,
huge win. I don't like that the Raiders are making these moves that like are really low risk, high reward, and have a really good chance of working out. Stop running
well,
yourself like a real organization.
I don't like the Chargers at all, so we're even. But
Yeah, yeah.
um, hey, you guys got a good running back who, by the way, we were talking to at the time as well. But the Chargers were able to. I don't know.
Okay.
I
So
I don't I don't
running
know
back.
what they're
There's still
holding
other running
against him.
backs.
Yeah, I don't know what they're holding against him. It's probably a gun to his head, but he did end up signing with the
Oh,
Chargers.
to get Najee Harris.
Najee Harris.
Is there another running back? I mean, it's possible. There's free agency just opened, right? We
Right.
finished the franchise tags. We finished the tampering, which started Monday. All these deals getting agreed to. Now we're the beginning of the league year where these deals can officially be signed, but there's still an infinite amount of time. I mean, a set amount of time before the NFL draft where all these free agent signings can happen. Are there any running backs that are still available that you want the Raiders to sign?
Nick Chubb looks pretty good. I know he's coming off an
Mm.
injury comeback last year. He still looked, you know, kind of what he used to be. It was a pretty bad injury though for Nick Chubb.
Yeah. I
So
feel like he has like two really bad looking
yeah,
injuries, but he
yeah,
always, I mean, hopefully he comes back. He did it. He
yeah,
wasn't super hyped, but it's always like after the injuries, the year
yeah.
after they heal up.
So Nick Chubb, we've seen what he can do. I mean, you guys took on Najee Harris, so I'm pretty sure you guys aren't going to sign Dobbins again to another contract. So Dobbins also looked pretty good. We've seen the skill set, and again, it's the same worry as with um Nick Chubb injury worries because they both missed significant time with past injuries. So, but both very, very talented guys. We've seen what they can do in the league when they're not injured. So those two come to mind. They have the breakout guy out of Dallas, Dowdle. He's a free
Oh
agent.
yeah, yep.
So, you know,
Huh.
there's some guys in the market. There's some guys in the market out there still in the market that you could go for. I think the
Cooper
type
Kupp.
of running back they are. It's been rumored that they are in talks to possibly see where Cooper Kupp is at money wise, and if the money's right, they are very
Oh,
interested
nice.
in signing Cooper Kupp. So we'll see what Cooper Kupp is like. They're trying to gauge what would get him over to a team, and because I mean Cooper Kupp's gonna know his value, and you can't tell someone what they think they're valued at. You know, they have their own gauge of where they should be getting paid at it in the market. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure he still thinks he's, near the top, I think, of the wide receiver market. And tough for him to see a guy who's a little older than him get signed in
Yeah.
LA, right? Oh, and they were talking about, oh, they want to go in a different direction, maybe get younger at the position and build around Puka, and then they go out inside Davante Adams, who's a little older. And I've seen some of the stats, like of course Davante Adams is still performing at a top level, but so is Cooper Kupp. He doesn't get all the targets, but uh the numbers are comparable. The
Hmm.
stats, if you're a sports person, stats do matter, and the numbers are comparable. So um, yeah, I mean
I
Cooper
wonder
Kupp.
if I wonder if Cooper Cup like they noticed something about Cooper Cup. Like it's always weird when like a football team releases a good player or people that we think are good, and
Right,
you're wondering, oh, if it's not a straight up money thing because they just gave money to freaking Davante
to
Adams.
Davante.
If it's not a money thing, if it's not like a cap restraint thing, then what really
What's
is
the
the
problem?
problem? Did you guys like see something you really don't like the way he moves now after the recent injury or something like that? So it always is like a little
I
making it to free agency is good because you get to test the market and get paid, sometimes
yeah.
above market value, hopefully for the players. But then it's also comes with that little flag, like, although they had a chance to keep me in the building, but they let me walk if it wasn't for like obvious, like, oh, we're over the cap, we got to let go of a really good player, something like that. So
I mean, but for them, you're definitely right with that thinking. But I think for them, because they're two different types of receivers, uh, from body to the way they move on the field, um,
oh, okay.
kind of position that they play. Devontae's more of a outside receiver, and you look at Cup, he has played outside. He's been their number one, but I think he fits more into the slot. So also you can
Cooper
think of
Cup and Lad McConkey.
that. Oh no,
Huh?
no, stop it.
The
Uh,
shifties.
but I think they also look at like Puka Nakua, the way he's built, type of game he has, and I think Devontae would probably be the perfect mentor for him to come in and learn from because he could really turn into the next Devontae if Devontae comes over and teaches him and is willing to mentor him
You
because
put Puka's motor on Davante's like movement skills,
yeah,
hands. I mean, Puka's already got the hands. He's got the freaking energy, the speed, the like knows when to down throttle and get open in the zone. If Davante gives him like his get off of the line
just
technique
oh
secrets,
man, that and just because Devontae also is a very good route runner, just like he's probably one of the best route runners uh, to play the game. So if Puka can
right?
learn something from him in that regard, yeah, That'd be crazy. But
So,
then for Cooper Kupp, I know a lot of people look at Cooper Kupp and smaller white dude, and I know a lot of them with Josh McDaniels back in the office there in New England. I know a lot of people are expecting New England to make a run at him too, just because of the
as the
similarity.
next like white slot guy, I
Yeah, just because of the
feel like
similarities to
he's
the
bigger
Cup.
than
He's a little bigger, but at the same time, everybody's, oh, he's a short white guy. Oh my
uh,
gosh, New England, Josh McDaniel. So,
uh, uh, back on Davante Adams, like mentoring Puka. Puka Nakua is giving up his number 17 jersey to Davante Adams. Puka Nakua is going to go back to his number 12 that he was when he was at BYU or before. So Puka going back to his college number, giving up the 17 to Davante Adams, who is just walking in as a free agent on a 2-year deal. Uh, what do you think about that?
I think that speaks to the Polynesian in Puka and just like the respect he has for his elders, probably. And
Mm,
it's just like, and Dewante's coming in, he's probably gonna want to make him comfortable. But at the same time, he's also, doing something to extend that arm. Like, hey man, here's 17. I hope you come in and you're able to teach me something, like an olive branch. I think that's what he's doing. But also, I hope Puka's like, yo, bro, 10 mil, man. Here's that 17 you need.
well, that was the other thing because he was on a podcast recently, and they were like, "Yo, would you give Davante Adams your 17 for 2 million?" And Puka was like, "Nah, I don't think. Nah, not for 2 million. Like that was not enough for him to make the change." So did Davante offer him like? I mean, Davante Adams got a Taco Bell in his house. He's got money, right? He's got money. He just signed a big contract. So I wonder how much. There's no word yet. There's no report on exactly what went
Yeah.
down or how much it was for. So interesting because he set the bar pretty high at two
I mean,
million
hey.
and said 2 million was not enough. So what was it? Puka Nakua got a Taco Bell in his house now.
And, then,
Like
and there was never any mention of like an offer or
oh no,
you know what I mean? There was never mention of any offer. There was never mention of any request for the jersey yet. And so yeah, I mean, maybe he
this
gave it out of the
no.
goodness of his heart.
Oh no, he said 2 million wasn't enough. I'm like, but there's also
Maybe
stories about Puka Nakua, like his diet for the first, 2 years that he was an NFL player was just whatever Taco Bell or Jack in the Box was on the way to the stadium. Whatever route he had to take that day, he was
yeah,
like,
now
"I'll
he
just
can
get
just
some Jack
stop
in the
in at
Box."
now you can just stop in at Devontae's and
So if Davante was like, "Yo, I got a Taco Bell hookup, I can give you Taco Bell for life," like, is that enough? No, everyone's throwing
he,
out.
he
All
got the
right,
Taco Bell card from Devontae.
yeah. All right. Chargers again. Not a lot of not any big signings.
Well,
No big contracts.
to be honest, I didn't expect anything big from them. I expect them to like have plug and play signings, like maybe along the lines, both lines. But as far as like big signings, I think they're pretty. I think they're happy with who they have, and they're just gonna try and build around that. And like just like the Raiders, there are no real big signings except for Geno. The other signings are guys who they think are gonna come in and be good in the system and be able to thrive in the systems. So I think Chargers are along the same line. They already went out, got their coach last year. They got their GM last year. They went in, they did the moves that they need to. They signed J.K. Dobbins to the 1 year deal. They had Gus Edwards, who they're letting go of. Both guys, they did what they needed to do. And now they know that they need a little bit more than those two guys in the backfield.
Yeah.
So they did go out and get Najee Harris, whose numbers are always good, but healthy. That's a big thing for them. Harris comes in with no major injuries. He hasn't missed any significant time in the league, and that's big for the Chargers. So now they can place him in the backfield. That's your first. They did get more money. They did not come back after. They did not go back after Joey Bosa, who, by the way, spurned his brother and 49ers and signed with the Bills. They
Yeah.
got money there. They signed Mack to a pretty favorable deal for the Chargers. It wasn't nothing big, but they still get a pass rusher there. So you guys still have money. It is early, and I expect the Chargers to make good moves, kind of like how the Raiders are now. Guys that are gonna be able to come in and contribute. Um, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some big name, maybe a
Well,
receiver somewhere in there.
I'm fine with there not being like a huge big name because usually the name recognition is what makes the overpay happen. Like, oh, I don't know, just the biggest people on the market. I mean, I can't even think who was getting overpaid. Anyways, yeah, the Chargers are doing good. They're kind of keeping the ship, steady and just like shedding contracts. Like you said, Joey Bosa's gone. They brought Khalil Mack 1 year, $18 million, which is cool. I mean, that's how much pass rushers are worth. And Khalil Mack is still freaking
Yep,
unaging.
still Khalil
And
Mack.
yeah, still a beast out there. $18 million for Khalil Mack for 1 year. Like you said, Najee Harris, 1 year, $5 million, incentives up to $9.5 million. But that's $5 million for a starting-ish running back. Najee Harris, like he's gone 1,000 yards for his first 4 years, but I think what they take him with the 20th pick or something like that overall.
Yeah.
So
I
like
mean, and
he didn't
they
live
just
up to those expectations, but still talented and could be that Saquon move, right? Where they signed like a slept on running back that people knew was good, but maybe just the team that he was on kind of made it sluggish. And they also had
yeah,
Arthur Smith trying to share carries with, everybody. That's his system kind of there. So
yeah.
that the low risk, high reward if Najee Harris gets a bunch of catches in, or a bunch of run and they let him go.
But I think like a lot of people like you said, that's 4 seasons of 1,000 yards. I don't know if he underproduced because that's kind of what you want out of your running back. I think everybody else on the team he was on underproduced, and it just made him look like because they weren't flashy
Mm,
1,000 yard seasons, But
yeah.
he's also money in the red zone. He's a big body. You give him the ball in the red zone and he scores.
Greg, it
So
seems like a good Greg Roman piece, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we lost Joey Bosa, Josh Palmer. Both of them ended up signing with the Bills. We had Christian Fulton for like half of a year. He signed with Kansas City. Puna Ford, who was great on our defensive line, signed the contract with the LA Rams. And then we also cut Gus Edwards. So we fill in that running back. We keep at least one pass rusher instead of Joey Bosa. We keep Khalil Mack on the other side of Tuli Tuipulotu. And then recently signed in on the opening of free agency, Dante Jackson on a 2 year, $13 million contract from the Steelers. And just Wednesday, Benjamin St. Juicy? Just? I don't know. I think it's Juice.
Uh, yeah.
But
When I first saw it, I was like,
another,
can't be his real name.
yeah, depth, a depth cornerback.
That
So,
yeah.
yeah, not a lot of money committed. So that's cool. Uh, but like you said, that's kind of just waiting. Oh, also possibility. The thing about having a lot of cap space is like you kind of waste it if you don't like if
Right.
you have $70 million in cap space going into the year, you could like just pay somebody $50 million to have their
Just the one
services.
splash. Yeah, the
Yeah,
one splash. Yeah.
and make it like short term or something like that. But
Yeah.
that'd be like a expiring contract or a super veteran, something like that.
Yeah.
Quarterback was answered over the last couple of days. The Raiders got Geno Smith. The Seahawks signed Sam Darnold. Looks like the Vikings are going to go ahead with JJ McCarthy, but they're still in talks of whether they want Aaron Rodgers. Justin Fields signed a 2 year contract with the Jets. And the Giants are now kind of deciding between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers also has a possibility to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Titans and Browns, the Browns who just traded away Dorian Thompson-Robinson for Kenny Pickett. Yeah, so Titans and Browns first and second pick. They're probably going to get Ward and Shadur or maybe somebody else. So it looks like things have shaken out. We just got to decide between where's Russell Wilson going to go? Where's Aaron Rodgers going to go? Because Titans and Browns already are going to draft their quarterbacks. Who's getting the Giants job? Who's going to the Steelers? Who's going to be the Browns? Is Kenny Pickett going to start for the Browns?
Who cares? No, just kidding. I don't know. Without disregarding what he's done in the league, I still don't know why Aaron Rodgers is a big signing for teams.
Well, I mean, these teams, you really should have not dropped the ball, because now you're stuck in
and now
either a bad quarterback or a crazy quarterback that's hurt.
But even just really off of the things he's done in the league, we're still like Aaron Rodgers, a top quarterback to be signed in the league, is wild.
Doesn't look like it. He doesn't look like a top quarterback.
Oh my gosh!
But he's going to get paid $40 million one more time.
Even Russ, yeah, exactly. Even Russ, like talking about him as if he's going to come in and save a franchise, like he's a win now quarterback. Both guys coming in to be win now quarterbacks it blows my mind. Like,
Daniel Jones signed a 1-year contract with the Indianapolis Colts.
But I don't mind.
They can get more than Daniel Jones, is what they're saying. They're like they're like a level better than that.
That's fine, but see, so they said they gave him a lot of money, but also he's still not going to be the starter there. So the Colts are just stupid for making that signing, I think, because I think they're just going to end up going with Anthony anyway. I think
this is year 3 now, right?
They're bringing in competition, I'm pretty sure, to try to maybe light a fire under him. But because he's not developed, you know whose fault that is? That's your fault, Colts, for not developing
him.
Yeah.
They're just trying to cut him before trade him out.
I mean, that's how superstars and villains are made. You're not gonna try to develop him. You're not gonna cut him. Then he's gonna go to another team, and you're gonna watch him rise and be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, probably. So
yeah, a lot of this stuff is like you get drafted to a team that is like not ready for you, or not ready to like amplify your talents, or freaking just not a good situation. You could be stuck for like 4 or 5 years before you can go to a team that you choose that is good for your your talents. What is going on with the Niners? The Niners dropped Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, both signed with the Denver Broncos. Thanks a lot, jerks. Why'd you let that happen? Kyle Juszczyk got cut? What? Signed with the Chargers. We need a fullback.
I think with the way they're moving, I think it's almost like a total rebuild for them, because they're also rumored to be shopping Brandon Ayuk, which would be their other starter, who was a starter. The 2 starters who they had at wide receiver, one already gone. In
they traded Deebo Samuels to the Commanders for like a 5th round pick.
Yeah, I mean, and then if you look at it though, I mean, it's not too bad at the wide receiver spot, because they do have Jennings, who is just played out of his mind.
Yeah.
They've got Pearsall, who's coming along. One shot Pearsall is what we're calling him. Broly Pearsall. They got him, who's developing pretty well. Of course, both of them haven't done anything that Brandon Ayuk and Deebo have done right now for the 49ers, but really good building pieces. So you're not too worried about dealing your wide receivers, but you've lost one of your starting linebackers. And I know people can argue that when he got hurt, Greenlaw got hurt, he also he didn't look the same again, but he wasn't back fully. He didn't have a whole season to come back and get back to who he was. Same thing with Talanoa Hufanga. He got hurt, he came back, he didn't look like himself. Also, he still doesn't look like he can make the reads. He can hit hard. He can run across the field, chase you down. But I don't know how well he is reading the defense yet. So
talking about the Tongan Tiger?
Well, now he's the Tongan horse. But
playing for the Wild Horses.
Hey, if you live in Denver, never mind, I won't make the joke. I think those are moves they just felt like they didn't want to have to bring them back and maybe see if they were going to be
Yes.
the same way from injury. They did have one of the guys at safety who came in for Hufanga, who's playing pretty well. He's
Oh
actually,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he is playing pretty well. So
I feel
um,
like they're just doing it to save money to sign Brock Purdy to a big contract.
they could be doing that.
That could be it. If
That
they're cutting players and carving out costs,
yeah, they
savings.
they also let Javon Hargrave go. I mean Kinlaw, sorry. They let Kinlaw go, who was on the line. He looked like he was starting to be who the person they thought he was going to be, But I guess maybe they thought he wasn't there yet, and it was taking too much time to let him go. They lost was it Shavarius Ward in their defensive backfield? They lost him. They lost a pretty significant amount of people right now who played significant minutes for them. So I mean, if you look at it and you have any sense, you would think rebuild just because that's but
Rebuild around Brock Purdy. Trade Brock Purdy
or trade Brock Purdy. But they still have McCaffrey. Of course, just he's coming off injuries where
trade McCaffrey.
I mean, if the market is right, that would be a really big trade for him. They could get a lot
Oh,
back for him.
the
You know,
market is not right. The DeAndre Hopkins got $5 million. Uh,
but
Najee
he's not
Harris got
McCaffrey.
$5 million. Well, I'm saying okay, specifically the market for running back and wide receiver, who might have hoped, this is going to be a really big
Yeah,
year after Saquon. Saquon got his extension. Now he's making $20 million. That's probably because he's Saquon Barkley, and on that team,
that's true.
he's super sick.
But so Hopkins is, I want to say past his prime. That's me. But
I
he's
can see
not.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's not the DeAndre Hopkins. So that's actually a really good contract for him. Still making money. He's probably gonna go. Where did he sign? I'm sorry. Signed with
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Stephon Diggs is still out there. If DeAndre Hopkins is making $5 million, what do you think
Which
he what
Stephon
would
Diggs though? The
yeah.
Stephon Diggs, yeah. So you gotta. He hasn't
But
been
what's a
himself.
number do you think Stephon Diggs is going to sign for somewhere? 20
Maybe just.
million? Like,
Oh man, that's overpaying. I think.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's overpaying. I think he gets a deal just a little bit over. Just a little bit over Nukes. He got five, maybe 10 for.
Okay, 10. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I could see 10. Yeah.
yeah, 10 or 12. Something like that for him because he's also still serviceable and younger than Hopkins. So, um,
Here's something to compare it to. DK Metcalf traded from the Steelers to or traded from the Seahawks to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a second round pick. He's signed a 5-year contract for $150 million. That's $30 million a year for DK Metcalf. If Stephon Diggs, I'd ride if I got someone told me to play for $6 million.
right, exactly. Like, bro, he hasn't been Stephon Diggs that we've seen destroy teams uh in at least 2 seasons. Sad to say, somebody even said, "Oh man, that's one of the
Yeah,
best
hurt.
decoys in the league." Like, oh,
Oh damn.
you're gonna pay a decoy $10 million a year? I don't know. I don't know.
That the trade for DK Metcalf is being seen as like the end of the Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson era. Like they cut Tyler Lockett. Uh, yeah, so a new Seahawks team in Seattle. No DK. He's now
Mm,
with the Steelers. The Steelers never make a big free agency move, right? Was it like
yeah,
Jerome Bettis? Patrick Willis? Not Patrick Willis. Patrick Queen
Patrick Queen
was
last
like
year.
their biggest signing, kind of like ever, like $40 million. The
Yeah,
Steelers famously build through the draft. So seeing them make a big move like this is kind of weird. Also, they've got a number 14 at receiver in George Pickens, who also played with Russ before. So maybe that helps them get Russell Wilson back. It doesn't look
I
like
mean,
it. I think Russell Wilson took a interview at Cleveland too.
I mean, I think these guys are just right now going through all the options they got. I think he's better suited to go back to Pittsburgh if they are
Yeah,
still open to him coming back and giving him
not
close
for
to the
40
money.
million.
Yeah, exactly. If the if the contract suits both of them, I think that's the best place for Russell Wilson to go back to. He's
I
already
think
been there a year.
he's going to go to whoever gives him the most money.
Huh.
I think he's like he likes that money that he got from Denver, and he does not want to take a step down. Uh, do you
I
think
hope
that's going
not.
to be very helpful for the Steelers? Like, who's they still don't have a quarterback, but I mean, you think this
Nah,
is
I
going to
mean,
work out?
I think if they get a rookie quarterback, it'll be just as good as having Russell Wilson last year. So, you
Might as
know,
well.
yeah, might as well go with depending on where they pick in the draft, and they can make a move up. I don't think they can make a move all the way to 1 or 2. So, I mean, there's still guys they can put in there. Like again, Jackson Dart. I told you, for me, size wise and with the strength in his arm, kind of looks like a Ben Roethlisberger type quarterback. He can come in. He's definitely more mobile than Ben Roethlisberger was coming into the
Mm.
league, but super strong. His lower body too is just the kid's a unit. If you see him out of pads, he's big. Um, you're looking at Jalen Milroe, a guy that you might be able to come in and uh, maybe do things like they've already got sets for Justin Fields there. You can kind of throw the same sets over for Jalen Milroe as a running quarterback. Hell of an arm. If you're looking for someone to just throw it down the field and have your two gigantic receivers chase after, Jalen Milroe is not too bad at doing that. So you have options. There's a ton of second tier, third tier quarterbacks in the draft that you may be able to pick up. And like you said, Pittsburgh's been able to develop guys through the draft, and they might be able to do that with the quarterback this year. Not a high quarterback, but
I'm trying to think. Are there any other? Well, Laramie. What the heck? The Houston Texans are trading away their starting offensive lineman. I'm afraid for CJ Stroud next year. We'll see how that works out. But Laremy Tunsil heads over to Washington Commanders, and then Kenyon Green uh, joins the Eagles. Um,
Tunsil's
and
a little older, so maybe they got someone on the line that they feel is able to come in and take that spot and maybe not be Tunsil yet, but can be better than him as the time goes on. That's how I always feel when
hopefully,
they let go of like veterans like that, who
mhm.
aren't like superstars at their position, but like super serviceable. I feel like there's someone that they were able to develop like over the last season that they're able to bring in and like he'll be able to just at least hold the position down and see how he does. So for less
That's
money.
for less money. For the two other things that I was thinking that stuck out to me is Jonathon Allen, defensive tackle for the Commanders, got released, and I wanted the Chargers to pick him up. He ends up signing with the Vikings, but the Vikings also was it Javon Hargrave? They signed. Their line is going to be crazy. The Vikings were active too.
Well, remember their philosophy isn't changing. They really like to rush the quarterback. I think they're like top 5 maybe in blitzing, but at the same time, they like to penetrate with that defensive front, like their D tackle, their nose tackle, and their nose guard. So having bodies like that, those are two really good defensive tackles, though. So and they already had like pretty good defensive tackles already. So now maybe the system is changing a little bit. Maybe they're going to be able to play guys, bigger guys in the end. Like maybe Allen can pop out to the end, play end. So
It's
interesting.
yeah, it's gonna the defense is gonna continue. They got brought Byron Murphy back. Yeah, but that not getting Jonathan Allen, I felt like, and not resigning Puka Ford was tough for the Chargers. The other thing was the Patriots freaking spent. The Patriots
They,
balled out.
they did, and then nothing. It wasn't anything like glaring, like no really big names, but there are guys that they look like they're going to be able to come in there and contribute. I don't know if it makes them like a championship contender yet, but they got some pretty good guys coming in there. So yeah, can't get Mike Vrabel coming in, who was a linebacker in the league. So they did a lot of defensive signings, like guys who can come in and plug and play. So
Yo,
they get Christian Gonzalez coming back this year from injury, who was just phew. Oh no, actually I'm sorry. He was back, Christian Gonzalez. Just he'll be at full strength this year. So the defense is looking pretty good. down
The
there.
defense
And
is they signed a bunch of
yeah,
automatic starters. Milton
yeah,
Williams, 4 years, 104 million at
he's the
defensive
biggest.
tackle. The
He's the
other defensive
biggest.
tackle, Kyrus Toma, got a 1 year, 2.7. Linebacker Harold Landry from the Titans, 3 years, 43
Yeah,
million. Robert Spillane, 3 year, 37 million. All right, I said
those guys
51
alone.
earlier.
So
Uh,
Landry, he's probably. Well, do they run a 3-4 out there? And I think they're
I
gonna
don't
move
know.
to a 4-3. So it's gonna put Harold Landry in the ground. I think he's gonna end up playing end for them instead of linebacker maybe
Yeah, and they also got cornerback Carlton Davis, 3
to
years,
play
60 million.
opposite
So
of Christian
yeah, to
Gonzalez.
play all, yeah. So the defense is going to be set. Offensive tackle Morgan Moses, backup quarterback Josh Dobbs, which means Milton is going to get practice squatted or something. Matt
Well,
Collins, two
they're
years,
trying
8 million.
they're actually trying to move Joe Milton. He's
They
got to.
should.
I mean, they should have kept him because he's
Well,
actually playing
yeah,
pretty good.
but they
But
brought in Josh Dobbs.
that's what I mean. I think Milton not as experienced as Josh Dobbs, of course, but I think Milton in the long run is better than Dobbs. So
I figure
maybe they
that's
don't
the
think they
level
can
you're
keep him.
getting.
Yeah, but Joe Milton, they're supposedly on the move. They're actively shopping him. So we'll see. Yeah, Patriots look pretty good. They Mike Vrabel when his team came in, they've picked guys obviously that they wanted to come into the team and take over. Like Spillane and Milton again are going to be pretty big for them. Because Milton, I know he's a young defensive tackle and he was playing along that faded line, and
Mhm.
it you think it would be hard to shine with Jordan there, Jordan Davis, the guys that they had on the line, but he was able to do it, and now he's just eating off of that, getting a big contract out there in New England. And then Spillane's been solid everywhere he's went. He was really good in Pittsburgh. I know people just wanted to see more flashiness, I guess, out of him on the
Mhm.
defense, but he was solid there. Got to the Raiders, made a name for himself, became a leader on the team. You know, um, made plays all over the field for the Raiders. He turned that into a nice contract with New England. So yeah, interesting to see.
The free agency, everybody switching teams, how these teams like value their own players, other free agents that they're bringing in. A lot of things get kind of revealed here at the beginning of free agency. Uh,
So
yeah,
Rico Dowdle signed with the Panthers. Great.
running back market is drying up. So now, well, spend some of that cap. It's really cool to see like the new eras, though, right? The
Yeah,
Raiders are like stepping up and making moves. Seahawks are making changes. Niners making changes. You have people kind of staying pat, riding the course with their draft picks, but still a lot more to happen. Certainly,
the Panthers made a little, they made a little splash too in free agency. So they signed some guys that are going to be solid for them. Rico Dotto being the latest, but I think they're making moves out there in Carolina too. In Dave Canales' second year, so they might be exciting to watch too because they were pretty exciting at the end of the season. It was nice to see them, like still see the fight in them, and then you saw Bryce Young kind of just be the kind of the player that a lot of us thought he was going to be. So pretty cool, pretty cool.
with the latest move for the Raiders. What? How do you feel? What do you think the direction is that these moves are pointing to?
Forward,
Not like the
forward.
not like the potential outcome, but like uh
I think they really. Pete Carroll came in and he said he didn't want to take the time to, like, of course he's going to develop the guys there, but he didn't want to take the time to like have to develop talent to get to winning. He wants to come in, he wants to be able to put a team together that's going to win now, and I think that's what the signings right now are pointing towards. Uh, it's pointing towards Pete Carroll and his team. His time with the Raiders should be to win now, to be a playoff contender, to be a championship contender, instead of to having to come in and develop guys that they're going to draft. Like the slow development of the team. That's not what he's looking for there. He's looking to come in and hit the ground running, as they say. towards I think they do make the playoffs this year. I think that's the aim, of course. And so I think even with the signings in the draft, they're gonna pick up guys who are gonna be able to contribute right away this season, rather than waiting around for them to become who they are. I think the rest of the signings, as the signings they did now, are geared towards a win now situation.
Uh, yeah, I agree for the Raiders. This is making them like Pete Carroll knows what a winning team looks like and how it,
Yeah,
how it moves, how it's put together, how it behaves during the week as you prepare
right.
on game day. So he's going to try to mold. You got a winner too, and Tom Brady, who's in there, definitely using his influence, like asking around, like, "Hey, do you want to play for the Raiders?" A lot of people are
Yeah.
saying they're going to the Raiders because of Tom Brady, his winning ways. Max Crosby himself mentioned, this was a big contract, but I signed here because of Tom Brady. That's a winner. I want to win, stuff like that.
And
So,
signing Max Crosby too early like that and getting him to help you recruit guys is big too, because as soon as Max Crosby signed that contract, I knew he was going to be there. Every person that the Raiders were going to go after, that fool would either try to FaceTime to talk to them, or
yep.
see what they're, yeah, and so like I think Geno's first call after signing was to Max Crosby. I was watching his podcast the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, and I just got this call. I know it from Geno, and me and Geno are cool, but now I'm on FaceTime, and he's just looking at me, and I was like, 'Hey, what's up, bro?' And he goes, "Deal's done. It's done." And what I mean, they said they were just yelling at each other on the phone. Max Crosby's wife came in, and she was yelling, and there it was a cool interaction, and so yeah, I think that's another underrated signing, just because, like you said, people are trying to sign with the Raiders because
Mhm.
of Tom Brady, but to have your star player
Yeah,
recruit actively, who's also one of the, I gotta say, he's top 10 in the league in players. Just not even at just his position, but like just player wise, in the league. So to have someone like that recruit you too, like tell him, come over, man, we're building this. You kind of believe it a little bit more. So, um, yeah, man, it's just I feel like the rise that they have is going to be similar to what the Chargers did last year, So, I'm excited
just
because
like
it's,
cut a lot of stuff, place a lot
yeah,
of
take
new
cut a
culture.
lot of the fat off and put in all that lean meat that's going to get you to, um, like you said, the culture that the Chargers wanted to set. And I think Pete Carroll came in there and is also trying to set his own culture and make sure guys know he's doing what coaches do. Again, AP's still my guy. I'm not gonna be come up here and talk about uh Pete Carroll like I didn't want AP to stay. I did, but um Pete Carroll just knows how, like you said, he's seen what a winning team looks like, a
Mhm.
championship team looks like. He's got the ring to prove it. So in college and in the NFL. So he's not just a college championship coach like some guys that.
Wow, what a hater!
Oh no, no, Jim. But Jim Harbaugh's he's been to the Super Bowl.
National champion.
Yeah, and he's been a runner up in the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
it's that.
See,
uh,
2 out of 3 with Pete Carroll.
but yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
good for man. I'm happy for you. Like this looks like direction pointing up. Uh,
for sure, for sure.
Lots
Well,
of
but
times the Raiders have picked like high potential guys, and I'm always like hoping it doesn't work out like to the best. But this looks like low
it's your
risk,
fault.
high reward, culture changing, culture setting. You guys are going to be good. This off season for the Chargers, just keep the ship steady. We cut a bunch of fat last year. We cut a bunch of these big old contracts, and now we are building through the lines. I mean, we need to. That's the biggest thing that points out for me for the Chargers, though. Where is the offensive line help? You got the left tackle and the right tackle, right? You spent big draft capital on those two positions. Re-sign Bradley Bozeman, but what's going on? Left tackle Zion Johnson also might compete for the center position. Uh, a bunch of interior offensive linemen were on the market. None of them ended up signing with the Chargers, which is, are we going to use this cap space, or is it good that we didn't sign a bad deal, like a long-term contract for a bunch of guaranteed money that was going to sink us? So trusting the process. It feels like just not a tank. I mean, obviously the Chargers
No,
were in the playoffs
yeah,
last year, but this year more of that. The draft, figure out how we're gonna spend that cap space. If it's gonna be like the Ravens, who they just sign a bunch of vets to like mercenaries kind of for a year or two maybe, which I'm fine with because that's a good way to kind of straddle that cap space and make sure you're getting the best out of your roster. The Vikings defense is going to be good. What else?
they've been good though. I mean,
The
they're just like,
Seahawks, yo,
look,
I
we're
am
talking.
worried about Sam Darnold. And he signed a 3-year contract. Fool, what the hell? After 2 years, they can get out. But I mean, definitely a bridge quarterback. Figure something else out. Davante Adams with the Rams. That's going to be crazy. I think the Niners letting a lot of people leave because they're about to pay Brock Purdy. Trade Brock Purdy. Come on, man. This is a 7th-round pick. You could do it again. I'm talking to Shanahan. You could do it again. Pick anybody off the street. You could quarterback them. You could coach them up to be the quarterback of the Niners in their system. And if not here, then here. If not there, then there. If not there, run. The Texans traded away a bunch of linemen. Why? Are they going to focus on linemen in the draft or free agency now? The Broncos, if those two signings, coming back from injury, Hufanga and Greenlaw, this is the year after or the year
Yeah,
of their injuries, that could be really
be
good
pretty
for
big.
them. I don't want to play them. I'm also interested to see what Nakua got for giving Davante number 17. Sure, there'll be other stuff. But yeah, if we missed anything, definitely message us, Ballinesian, at Ballinesian on Instagram or TikTok. Email us, ballinesian@gmail.com. Stories that we should be focusing in on, or you've got any corrections or anything else you wanted to add to the conversation. Anything else stick out to you, or any shout outs before we go?
Yeah, Dallas hasn't done anything significant either, so that's tough.
They
Dallas,
re-signed their long snapper to a 3-year fully guaranteed deal or something like that. I was like, what are you doing?
yeah. So we'll see. Just because Jerry Jones is still their GM and they haven't paid anybody any significant money in like a long time. They haven't made any moves like that in a long time. So I mean, we'll see.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, Broncos got a little better in our division. There's talks of maybe Lockett signing with Kansas City, going back to a place where he played college ball at. So yeah, I mean, there's so much still yet to come with the draft coming up. The the team is releasing guys come June 1st, and who you're going to be able to sign, and when some of these guys are able to talk to people. I know the tampering time is over, so yeah, there's still a lot to go. So a lot to unpack for teams. I think there's going to be a lot of trades come draft time. Like you said, there's still teams with cap space to be used, and some of these coaches and GMs probably aren't willing to develop in the draft. So I think we're going to see some trades during the draft. We'll see.
the Bears got 3 starting offensive linemen, 3 interior linemen, a guard, and a center. Drew Dahlman, Joe Tooney. They traded with the Kansas City Chiefs and Jonah Jackson. So hopefully that means Caleb Williams is going to do better and not have to run around so damn much. Any other shout outs?
Oh man, just shout out to
Bro, shout out to y'all coming down and freaking going out and getting to hang out and see you, Noah, Pele yesterday. Yeah, that was fun. We got to do that more.
That's exactly my shout out. Shout out to you and Nora. We got to hang out with Lance and his daughter Nora, who were uncles too, who didn't shy away from us being her uncle. She wanted to sit next to all of us all at one time, and she couldn't, so she was in every chair possible that was either close to me, PJ or Noah, and anywhere away from her dad at the moment when we got there. So super
Climbing.
fun hanging out with them. Yeah. Shout out to Winona and Noah for hosting me and PJ last night. Oh man, good times like that. It's so fun, man. We even got to see Will last night.
Hey,
Yeah, he stopped by, hung out for a little bit. Uh, Super cool, man. It was fun being back in Portland. That was I haven't been back in like shoot, like months maybe. I haven't been back to Portland, so fun to get out there and eat some good food at the food carts. Hang out, play top golf. Me and Noah got cheated. I don't know what the machine did, but we got cheated out of a win. It was just bogus. Uh, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Just fun times, good times, man. Good times.
that was fun. Good stuff. Yeah, shout out to Levasa, shout out to Eri, shout out to everybody there at Via Dolorosa Church in Modesto. Freaking I'm gonna get this guy back on the pod list. So what's the latest for Levasa Island Apparel is happening. Find it on Instagram, le_Vasa. Shout out to the network, Polytickin Network, the podcast, Patreon, Pacifica Movie Starter Kit, and everything else under that network umbrella.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Chef just dropped a song on SoundCloud, My Block. So if you guys have a chance, go check that out on Chef's on his SoundCloud, and pretty dope. He just got back from SAC. He was out there from some family stuff, so go check it out. You know, he's out there reminiscing with all the people, all his people. He's able to write a song out there.
What is that? What is that beat from?
Uh, same song, My Block, Scarface.
There you go. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely tap in and check that out. Anything else before we go? What was it,
Yeah, man.
March?
The Raiders are the best. Oh, if you March Madness coming up, folks. Get your popcorn ready. Get your gear ready. March Madness, baby. Basketball wise, you guys heard me all season talk about Notre Dame in football, and now you're gonna hear me talk about North Carolina in basketball for men's. And man, super toss up between the women's game because there's so much. They got Tahini Papa in South Carolina. They got Juju Watkins out here in California at USC, and then they have the Yukon Huskies. You pick one. You know what I mean? Pick a player out off the Yukon Huskies to cheer for. So, but I might have to ride with USC and Juju Watkins this year because she's just tearing it up. And if you guys didn't know, she's got more points than Caitlin Clark in her career in NCAA. So,
Oh, like in a season?
non-career, I think it's career. I looked that up, but she surpassed Caitlin Clark for points. She's killing it, bro. I think the last 3 games she's averaged like at least close to 28, 10, and like 7. So just killing it. Just killing it. Yeah. So Kate Becker's, she's cool too. And her first name is not
Kate.
Yeah. But yeah, man. NCAA March Madness is upon us, folks. Get on it. Like you heard from Tar Heels, UNC.
Those brackets going.
Oh yeah.
March. Tumua is gonna be at the Helium.
Yep.
The comedian Tumua is gonna be at the Helium PDX in Portland at the end of the month. Are you gonna be down for that?
I'm coming down. I'm coming down for that. Me and Noah and Winona, we plan to go watch that. So yeah. Let's go get drunk and get clowned on.
Yeah,
you
I'll
are,
see
bro.
You guys after.
Don't worry.
Ain't nobody trying to cover a Saturday. Yeah, he's gonna be. Was it Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
That's gonna be Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I feel like another podcast just said they went to a show and it was hilarious. So looking forward to it. We'll figure out something to go to. Yeah, thanks for tapping in. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you guys staying throughout this episode as we broke down all the free agency moves for the Raiders and Chargers and the big moves that happened. Shout out to Puka Nakua. Respect. You know, that's like an elder respect thing. But also, what did you get? What did you get for giving away your 17? Let us know.
Bro, I hope you got something. Don't tell me you didn't get enough.
He said he said $2 million was not enough, so it had to be more. flabbergasted. Thanks for tapping in. We'll see you guys next week. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay balling, love and light. Peace.